Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that every single day celebrates the people who are making coastal Mississippi a very special place to live, work, and play. And I have the CEO of Coastal Mississippi, Milton Segarra, today, and we'll come to him in just a second. And just to share a couple of quick things with you. A friend of mine on Facebook, Dave Brandon, posted this, and I just think it's terrific. And it just talks about perseverance and the ability to sort of get back up. But here's what it said. I threw in the towel, God threw it back and said, wipe your face, you're almost there. I thought that was perfect. I threw in the towel, God threw it back and said, wipe your face, you're almost there. There's so much truth to that. And then one other, this is from my friend, Stacy Waldrop. I mean, she's just one of the most positive people I know, but here's what she wrote. Today, instead of being upset by all the things that are wrong, be thankful for all the things that are right. And that came from Live a Happy Life. Just good stuff to focus on. Just a really quick point. I had the opportunity yesterday to have the Speaker of the House, Philip Gunn, on the show, and I want to commend him for getting on the ground and seeing for himself what's happening at hospitals across the state. He spent a considerable amount of time here on the coast. It was a very compelling conversation where he said everyone's got an opinion, but he wanted to see the facts, and the best way to see the facts is to go on the ground and see what's happening. We mentioned during the phone conversations, during our session together, Lee Bond and the work that they've been doing over at Singing River Health Systems. And on an invitation from Lee Bond, I'm going to go over to Ocean Springs Hospital later today, and I'll share that experience with you tomorrow. I'm going to meet Georgia Story and then go in and visit with some critical care nurses and some critical care doctors, and just try to give you a better feel for what's happening on the ground. And I look forward to bringing that really challenging story to you from what most people would describe as a war zone. So without any further ado, let's move over to my friend Milton Segarra. It's been a while since we visited. He's
That's right. Nice to see you, Ricky. Good morning.
Yeah, it's good to see you. He's the CEO of Coastal Mississippi. He's been on the show. I literally lost count, Milton, on how many times you've been on the show. But I think the last time we talked, we were coming out of that third wave. I don't think that the fourth wave had really hit us. There are a lot of hopeful signs. I look forward to kind of visiting with you and all of that. But anyway, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing fine, Ricky. I'm looking forward to going to that conversation. But first of all, I just want to, and I'm sure a lot of people is going to be with me in this question. How is your granddaughter doing? It's so important to us to know.
Thank you. Thank you for asking about Mila. Kyle and I are going to talk a little bit more about what happened last Thursday, but she had a very, very serious medical emergency. And the good news is she's in Memorial. Kent Nico and the team at Memorial have done a terrific job of taking care of Mila. She's 2 years old. She's one of the most special kids you've ever met. Who's so expressive and wonderful. But she's doing really good today. Her numbers are getting better, and you can see the old Mila's coming back, and we're really, really fortunate. The thing that has blown her father, my son Jordan, and her mother Sierra, who's incidentally an RN. What's blown us away, all of our families, is that the outpouring of support from the community has been overwhelming. Anytime a child is involved, it's a tough situation. But when we get to the last segment of the show, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. If you really want to know all the details, you can go to my Coast Vue Facebook page where I posted something about the whole story. But we'll get to that. Thank you so much for asking about that, Milton, and thank you so much for your expressions of prayer and support. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. We'll continue praying for her and for your family. Absolutely.
Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that. So, man, here we are, fourth wave.
Here we go again.
So when you kind of analyze things, kind of talk to me about what's the state of mind these days in your organization, and how are we doing?
Well, let me tell you, the COVID-19, as you know, we've been discussing this for many times. We were able to come back to the marketplace and the recovery for coastal Mississippi, and actually the state of Mississippi was remarkable. We led the nation in that recovery. Obviously, this variant is bringing some additional challenges and changes, to the marketplace. Just to share with you some numbers, and we're getting the information, Ricky, every week from very important research companies. In this particular case, from Destination Analyst, and we're doing as well from Longwoods International, which are two very important worldwide companies that are providing the sentiment report from the consumers, which at this time is key. And so far from the travelers here in the US, 70%, 72 to be precise, of the travelers in the USA are vaccinated. So people that wants to travel, they have taken the time and go through the process. But at this particular time, 63%, or almost 2/3 of those are really concerned about this situation with the COVID-19, specifically the Delta variant. And 1/3 of those are postponing or canceling their trips. So, and we should see this within the next 45, 60 days. So we're talking about the last portion of our summer season, September, early fall. So what we're trying to do, and the organization in conjunction with our partners, in conjunction with our leadership at the board, what we're doing is actually looking for opportunities to make sure that we can continue engaging with the people that are willing to travel at this time. And the key here is to make sure our vendors, our stakeholders, they are prepared and they are ready to provide a safe environment to them. All those travelers are saying, I'm willing to go to places in which they have mask mandate in place, in which, and it doesn't have to be the state mandate, but at least that you go to a venue, a hotel, a restaurant, and they are following certain protocols and parameters to make sure the visit, the stay, the consumption, the time they are there, they are safe. And what we're trying to do is to make sure people understand that reality. We don't necessarily need to wait to see what the state is going to do, or the county or the city. But at this particular time, our clients, which are willing to come to the South, because most of our visitors are from the South, and you know, the mentality is a little bit different. So they're willing to take some time, they're willing to go experiences, places, but they're looking for certain level of additional safety and precautions, protocols in place to make sure not only them, but the people that we live here are more safe and healthy at every single time.
Well, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, obviously, I'm not surprised by that. And, you know, we knew from the very beginning of COVID that one of the keys to our success as a tourism destination was going to be ensuring people that they could have a safe visit. The other thing that you guys did a really good job of doing is really zeroing in on the reality that the vast majority of people who came to coastal Mississippi came here in their cars, and they felt safe in their cars. And you know, with the casinos and everyone sort of rallying behind this goal of making people feel safe, it was really the key to our success. So now that we're in this, you know, what happened, Milton, unfortunately, is that we were coming out of that third wave, economy's kind of open, people felt like they could get out and you know, live their lives again, and things were kind of, you just had to sit, the vaccine was there. You had to sense that we were recovering. And we heard sort of these distant shout outs that, you know, worry about, we should be concerned about potential variants and what that looks like. We hear about this Delta thing way off in some other country, and then within a matter of weeks, we're battling it mightily. And it almost gives people whiplash how much things change from sort of getting out there, living their life, to holy mackerel. You know, now that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated for the most part, we had to pivot hard, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely, Ricky. And I have to tell you, and everybody knows, this is not only for the tourism industry. COVID-19 has changed so much, and protocols, and the way you do business, and the ways you approach business, and the way you prospect business has changed. And in our industry, it hasn't been the exception. And what we have learned, Ricky, through the experience, and the thing is that here in coastal Mississippi, we learn immediately, and we can take the situation and we create solutions, and we innovate towards being front and center. And in this case, this hasn't been the exception. I have seen how our vendors, our stakeholders, from hotels, from tour operators, from restaurants, they have come up with good ideas to make sure people, when they come and visit, they feel safe. And as a matter of fact, from the first wave of the total cases in the state of Mississippi, I think in the coast, Ricky, it was only 10% or 11%. So when you take in consideration the size of our population, which is almost 400,000 people of the entire state, the fact that we had only 10 or 11% of the cases, it's a good sign. And we were using that type of information to share with our visitors, telling, hey, we're taking the right measures, we're doing the right thing, you can trust us and you can come. And we were offering, on top of that, the Destination Healthcare Promise, which is very simple. We're going to do the best possible efforts to make sure that when you visit us here in coastal Mississippi, you're going to find a place, either a hotel, a restaurant, the beach, any place you go. And we're going to have all the protocols in place to make sure you and your family are safe, while we that we live here are safe as well. And that did work. People trust what we're saying. And at the end, we saw the numbers that, I have to say, we led the nation in recovery after those efforts.
We really did. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Milton Segarra, the CEO of Coastal Mississippi, and just talk about the implications of the Delta situation and sort of where we go from here. And we'll also talk about the future. Where is Coastal Mississippi going in the future? We'll see you after this break.
Coast Vue on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. Thousands of Bulldog fans have subscribed to the Thunder and Lightning podcast. Have you? On each episode, Brian Haydad and Joel Coleman give you an inside look at your Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Thunder and Lightning podcast is free and available on demand at supertalk.fm and on your smartphone. Just search for Thunder and Lightning on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thunder and Lightning from SuperTalk Mississippi, covering the Bulldogs like no one else. Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. I have the CEO of Coast of Mississippi, Milton Segarra, with me. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I have lost count with how many times we've visited together on this show. What has struck me about you, Milton, every single time we talk is that you're focused, you're positive, you're strategic. And to be strategic means you also have to be tactical. In other words, strategic is long term, tactical is short term. It's it's doing things now. Strategic is always having your eye on the ball about where we're headed. What are the goals and where we're headed? It was smart what you guys did, and the numbers really bore this out. That you focused on creating a healthy and safe environment for people who wanted to come here in their cars. And we had one of the most significant recoveries. Mississippi was at the top of the list, and then tourism was at the top of Mississippi's recovery list, and then the coast was at the top of that list. So unbelievable performance. But as it typically is in a pandemic, you're going to have to shift gears. You got to, as we mentioned a minute ago, you got to pivot because the pandemic's not over. And COVID is something we're going to have to learn to live with. It's going to be with us for maybe, who knows how long it's going to be with us, a long time. So, the vaccine is critical to that conversation. As you sort of evaluate where we are right now, you mentioned a second ago about what people's concerns are and what they want to see when they come here, but how are we doing?
Well, first of all, I have to say that what we were able to accomplish, Ricky, and this is very important for me to share with all your audience, we have a phenomenal team in coastal Mississippi. I can't thank them enough about the day by day efforts they put to make sure we implemented the strategy that was approved by our board, which is now led by Brooke Schulz and as our president, and Mark Henderson as our vice president. And with their leadership, we are moving forward in the right direction. And I have to tell you, what we're seeing right now, no surprise, we're seeing cancellations. We have seen individual cancellations in small and big hotels. We're seeing group cancellation or postponements of those groups. That's okay. That's understandable. But right now, I think, and this is the way we're looking at this, we have a immediate plan, which is to handle with the potential demand or the softening of the demand right now. And we have a plan in place with our agencies, with our team, and based on the feedback of the consumer sentiment and that type of feedback that we're getting pretty much daily, we're going to be activating different levels of that plan. However, in the long term, as you said, COVID or something else will be available. Safety now is one of the most important components when you're traveling. You want to know about that, and health as well. So what we're trying to do is to shift the overall goal of the organization. And obviously, we will always be a marketing organization and will bring visitors. But right now, there are some other things that are so important in the future of organization like ours, like total alignment with the stakeholders, with the elected officials, with the community. We need to think the same way. We need to have a plan, one plan for everybody. We need to make sure that we have a sustainable plan in place, which is so important. And for us, being at the coast, it's important that we have a plan to make sure our resources and the way we do business is sustainable. And the third one, and the most important part, is that the new marketing for destinations is the values that we own, the values that defines us. Those are the unique, specific things that people are looking for and are willing to travel, even under Delta, the variant. But if you have the values and they understand that, they are willing to take that risk and go and visit if you provide them with a safe environment. So those are the changes that you will see in organizations like us that we are strategically discussing to make sure we can direct and redirect the organization in the right direction.
I had a really good visit with Matt McDonald from the Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum and Convention Center. And some events are still on. Some have been canceled or postponed, like, for example, a nurses convention. I mean, obviously, you're not going to have a nurses convention when the critical, we have a lot of critical issues that we're facing now in the Delta, but boy, I would say number one on the list is nursing shortages and the amount of, stress on that team right now. So I understood that one. The other thing is that he had a meeting, actually a series of meetings with Woody Bailey from Cruising the Coast, and all measures are that they're moving forward. I have Pete Vicari from Vicari Auctions is my neighbor and my very dear friend, and he's still moving forward with the auction at the Coliseum, and they're going to do it in a safe way. But I'm not surprised that that cruising would be on and looking potentially at some record numbers, because people feel safer in their car. It seems like, I said this before, but cruising seems like the tailor-made event during the pandemic. Anyway, so what's your you can certainly respond to the to the cruising thing, but we just have to deal with the reality that some events might fit into the kind of safety protocols that we have, and some may not. That's kind of where we are, isn't it?
Well, let me tell you about Cruising the Coast. Again, the best car show in America, USA Today, people that voted in that particular newspaper, the #1 car show in America. That's great. 3 of the 4 last years were the #1. Woody and his team is doing phenomenal. Over 8,000 cars are already registered and counting, so it could be a record-breaking year. But on top of that is the efforts that Woody and his team are putting to make sure that we can offer a safe event. As they did last year, they're putting more emphasis this year, following all the specific recommendations from our state health department, from the CDC, from the vendors. I mean, I can assure you, when they go to the Coliseum, Matt and his team, as he has done in every single opportunity, people, when they go to our Coliseum, they feel safe because they see the measures that are in place and the protocols. And that's specifically the message that we're trying to send. Even though this COVID-19 and the Delta variant is a reality, still there are places, and here in coastal Mississippi is one of them, that we're taking the necessary measures to make sure that we are safe and all the visitors that are coming and stay with us as well. And that will make a difference. And as long as we keep talking to the people that are willing to travel right now, and we offer that, and we keep the engagement with the people that are saying, you know what, let me hold for a while, which is fine, we understand that. But we keep feeding them with the information about how we are progressing and moving forward. I think, as we did in the first phase of this, we'll come back. Most likely the next 30 to 45 days, we'll see a reduction in demand, but it will come back. That's the assessment we have as of today, Ricky.
Now, the good news as it relates to Delta variant is that, well, it's unfortunately, it could go on for a few more weeks, according to Dr. Dobbs. So we don't yet know when the peak will arrive. Let's hope it arrives sooner than later. But there's a good chance that we would hit the peak before Cruising the Coast gets there, and we start to see the numbers start to fall again. But I think for tourism to start to thrive again in the way that we know it can, that we saw after the third wave, we need to see that we sort of got things under control and that we're moving in the right direction. We're kind of in this no man's land right now, where the numbers continue every day to be higher and higher. And a lot of my focus on this show with the Speaker of the House, with medical leaders, is to talk a lot about the vaccine, to talk a lot about, that's the one tool we have that we can fight this, and to really bring focus on the medical professionals, the work that they're doing. I mean, Milton, you know this. Man, we are so lucky to have such a gifted and committed medical community here in coastal Mississippi, aren't we?
I can attest to that. Absolutely. And that is one of the things that we, in our Destination Health Promise, Ricky, we have all the 3 main consortia here, Memorial and Merit and Singing River. They endorse our Destination Health Promise because we want to tell the people about, hey, if you come and something happened, we have phenomenal physicians, we have phenomenal hospital system available to help you. And again, sometimes you have to do different partnership. When in your mind you were thinking about tourism and hospitals, that is nothing like you do, but the situation changed. So we reach out to them, they reach out to us. Now we have a phenomenal partnership that is working. We promote, they help us with the specific science and clinical information. And at the end, what we're doing is giving to the visitors more specific and more accurate information about what could happen if they visit Coast of Mississippi. But that's a different partnership that we're looking forward to do. We have done things with Mississippi Power. We have done things with hospitals. We're doing things with the Gulf Coast Business Council, because the situation and the business model has changed so much that you need to shift and look for different partners to accomplish your goals. And we're going to continue doing that.
Yeah, it's about constantly evaluating what's the latest situation and how can we best face that. I can attest, by the way, to, in my case with my granddaughter's a non-COVID related emergency, and the memorial, man, they just went beyond the call of duty. And I would say, you know, if you were to talk to Sierra and Jordan, they would tell you that they don't believe that there was any delay or anything as it related to her care. And so, you know, I know, man, I just know what's happening at that hospital right now. And these professionals are spread in so many incredible directions, and that they can continue to give great care is really important. And that's the kind of message people need to hear. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Milton about the future and so on. So we'll see you after this break.
Listen live or on demand and watch episodes of Coast Vue on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to supertalkmsgulfcoast.com.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever, with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm. What decisions are being made by state lawmakers, and how will they affect you, your family, and community? If you listen, you'll know. SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk app, and at supertalk.fm.
Hi, I'm Billy Kinder, host of Big Billy Kinder Outdoors. Here the show Saturdays at 1, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Turkeys, whitetail, Grenada Lake crappie, or Gulfport redfish. We enjoy it all, especially when you're in camp with us on SuperTalk Mississippi.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Hey South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi, and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, I worked in a furniture factory, Slash. I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant. Slash. I was in the National Guard. And,
Wow.
All this stuff was going on at the same time. Slash, I had a writing contract with Rick Hall in Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
And now, it's Coast View with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on Super Talk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast View. I have the CEO of Coastal Mississippi Tourism, Milton Segarra, with us. And before we go any further, let me just say this. People who have been following my what I've written about this, and to some extent what I said on the air, although I haven't really said a whole lot on the air, I've had some concerns over the past several months about coastal Mississippi tourism. And it's been really quiet lately because I think what we're observing is that they're focused on bringing the board together and doing things that can sort of get past some of that noise. And the reality is, I'm watching the leadership of Brooke Schultz and the work that people like Mark Henderson, my dear friend here on Coast View, and the work that they're doing. And I have confidence in their abilities to sort of sort through this and get us moving in the right direction. This is not something that I have discussed with Milton on the air or off the air, and Cal can attest to that. But Milton's been, throughout any noise that might have been there, Milton's been just focused on letting us know what coastal Mississippi tourism is all about. And I have confidence that we're moving in the right direction. So I just wanted to mention that. So Milton, you and I didn't get into the strategic planning process, and because as I mentioned, you got to be tactical because there's always these pivot points that COVID has been delivering. But let's set COVID aside for a second. The one thing and one of the reasons I did this show is that coastal Mississippi as a region is one of the most, if not the most powerful region of the state, not just because of Ingalls and Stennis and all the things that happened in between, the port of Gulfport, for goodness sakes, but the tourism piece. The tourism recovering in Katrina helped bring light to the reality that so goes coastal Mississippi tourism, so goes the state. So it's given us an opportunity, I think, to align coastal leaders all across the state around the importance of coastal Mississippi. We saw that after Katrina. We're seeing it during this, obviously we saw it after the oil spill. We certainly are seeing it during this pandemic, that we need coastal Mississippi not only to do well, but to thrive. And you guys are focused on that on a regular basis, thinking of this as a regional effort, that coastal Mississippi as an entity, a collection of communities, brings with it some incredible diversity of experience that creates a competitive advantage for us. And you guys are really always thinking about how do you push those positive attributes forward strategically. Talk to me more about that.
Of course, Ricky, we are a regional industry with the that we impact the entire state of Mississippi. Let me explain. 1/3, Ricky, 1/3 of all the tourism activity that happens in Mississippi, it's here, it's what we do. So we represent at least 1/3 of all the expenses, all the expenditures, taxes, the number of visitors. So that's a great responsibility for us, and we understand, we engage with that. We want to do better every single day. But also, and this is the way I see it, and with all due respect, it is important for the state to take a look very carefully, because it's important for the state to make sure that the economic activity in the coast regarding tourism remains in a nice position. So it's a good situation to be, and we trust and we like that relationship with the governor, with the lieutenant governor, with the Speaker of the House, with our Gulf Coast delegation. We try as much as possible to keep them updated about the importance of the industry, and they understand and they are supporting us tremendously. So having said that, Ricky, our board has been engaged in a process to make sure that we can bring to the community, to our stakeholders, a strategic plan for the future, for the next 2 to 3 years. We're we're focusing more in 2-3 years versus 5 and 10 because things are changing so rapidly that organization like ours needs to have a plan, even though it's strategic in nature, but it's also tactical that you can change if need be. Take a look to what happened with the COVID-19. So we've been working with that. We believe under Brooke Schul's leadership that most likely within the next 30 to 60 days, we're going to finalize that plan. But it's nothing more important than take advantage of the strategic position of coastal Mississippi, not only in our region, in our state, but in the entire region. If you take a look from New Orleans to Panama City to Destin, Florida, when you're analyzing the beach destinations, I mean, we're second to none. None of those destinations can offer what we have. And we're trying to maximize that. We want to try to increase our market share in the region. As a matter of fact, New Orleans have like 30,000 rooms. We have close to 16,000. Those other destinations, maybe 5, 6, 7,000 rooms. So we have a very important presence in the coast, and we'll certainly, this is the key, Ricky. No one can offer the level of the gaming industry that we have, second to none. And at the same time, you offer the outdoor, non-gaming, relaxing, coastal experience that we can offer. Tell me who can do that here in the South? Only us. And we're going to maximize and make sure that our strategic plan take advantage of every single opportunity to grow that competitive advantage.
It is incredible when you, one of the good things about a strategic plan is it gives you an opportunity to focus on the positive attributes. How do we push the positive attributes forward? When you look at that from that perspective, what is it that you get you so excited?
Well, the thing is that we have two very important segments. More than 50% of the people that comes to coastal Mississippi, it's because of our gaming partners. Again, that's great. And then the rest is because they want to come and enjoy our food, our culture, our outdoors, our beach. They want to go fishing. They want to go and play golf. They want to go and visit friends and family. And when you put those two together, besides the fact that we are trying to increase our number of groups and conventions, which is very important in this particular mix, at the end, you have a very diverse source of business, and you don't rely in one specific market segments to be successful. So what we're trying to do is to make sure we create the opportunities, the strategies, the initiative, and the engagement with those different markets to offer a very compelling and all-inclusive experience to make sure that people see us on a different way. And that's why coastal Mississippi became that part of a different side of Mississippi, the secret coast, everything that we can offer that many people don't know. Now we're trying to make sure it's an eye-to-eye contact with our market segments, which is primarily regional, as we know, but also increase a little bit the distribution of our messages, distribution of our product in very important fly markets that we're going to be working this year, which is part of our strategic growth to maintain the number of the market share in the driving market, but also start looking to the fly markets and increase that number as well.
It's pretty exciting. I had a wonderful conversation with Austin Summerall, the owner and chef of the White Pillars, last week. As you know, he won the 2021 King of American Seafood Award.
He's one of the best.
He was raised salt of the earth kind of guy, and he's really built a really incredible restaurant in this iconic place, White Pillars. But what's interesting about what he said was that he wants all the restaurants, and he sees all the restaurants of coastal Mississippi raising the bar. It's not just the White Pillars. The more bar raising that they do across the spectrum, the better. And he sees coastal Mississippi slowly but surely becoming a place where people would want to come here and enjoy incredible restaurants. Just like people go to New Orleans to do that. It goes, like people go to New York to do that. When I talk to people like Julian Rankin from the Walter Anderson Museum, what a bright young talent he is, how articulate he is as he talks about not just the Walter Anderson Museum and the incredible contribution it's making to the community, but how it fits into this broader world of coastal Mississippi, and how when people come there, he urges them to go to Bay St. Louis and see the art community in downtown Bay St. Louis, and the people in downtown Bay St. Louis urge people to go to Ocean Springs. But this incredible symbiotic relationship that all this collection of, from incredible restaurants to the Ore Museum to the Walter Anderson Museum to, Chuck Loftus and the work that he does on the beach, and I mean, and the casino industry and the Hotel Motel Lodging Association and the work that they do. It takes an amazing effort of talented, passionate people to pull this off, doesn't it?
And yes, the answer is yes. And just precise of what you just said, Ricky, it's important that people understand this is a community-based business. This is a community-based industry. Everybody needs to be in the same page. This is not only for hotels or casinos, for restaurants or tours. This is an activity that will enhance the quality of place of the coast. This is an activity, if we're successful, we're going to be in a better economic position. Our economy will grow, more jobs will come. But most importantly, if we do good, Mississippi does better. That's number one. And number two, the better we do in development and infrastructure, the quality of place for all of us that we live here in coastal Mississippi gets much, much better. And that's the importance. Those are the additional numbers that normally people don't see. And that's why we need to work together. All those components that you mentioned. Of course, we need the po' boys and the shrimps and all of that. But as Austin said, we need some other restaurants as well that will bring different and additional visitors to coastal Mississippi. And we want that to happen. And of course, we want more hotels and activities. But the thing is this, everything must be as part of a plan in which all of us, when I said all of us, it's not only the people that work in the tourism industry. When I said all of us, is that the communities can embrace, the communities can engage, the community can feel part of that they have the ownership to make sure that we move forward and we have a sustainable tourism which promote the values of the coast, which is the difference. And if we can align the elected officials, the stakeholders, the economy, organizations such as us in one plan, in one page, I can assure you the future is so bright for coastal Mississippi that I'm sure what we're going to see is going to be so far from what we had thought, that it's going to be phenomenal for all of us.
I'm so confident we can do that. I was at the One Coast Awards last week, and something that the Sun Herald started when I was publisher of the Sun Herald, recognizing a regional view that if we work together as a region, if we get all the pieces together and we all buy into what this place is and what it could become, no one can stop us. No one can stop us. And we have so many leaders that are in the trenches working on a regional view. On this regional vision, that we're very lucky in that regard. And I will always keep the focus on that. I will never let the spotlight get off of that. Milton Segarra, thank you so much for your leadership. I appreciate it, buddy. It's been great visiting with you.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure, Ricky.
When I come back, we'll have a chat with Cal Curley. We'll see you after this break.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on Super Talk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Dale Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, two streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera flips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on Super Talk Mississippi, the Super Talk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on Super Talk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. It's no surprise to anyone who listens to Coast View that I'm a big fan of our regional approach to coastal Mississippi tourism. It's just so important that we never lose sight that it takes all of us working together to do the best, to be the best we can be as a region. The collection of communities, if you think about Gulfport and Long Beach and Pasco Shannon, Bay St. Louis and Waveland, Ocean Springs and Moss Point and all Pasco, all these Goshen, all these cities, each has their own unique sense of place. And when you bring them together, this collection of incredible communities combined with our beach and our casinos and our incredible restaurants and hotels and everything else we bring to the table, it creates a region that people want to come to. Just look at what's going to happen unless for some reason Delta impacts it. Look at what will happen in the near future with the cruising the coast and the number of people who are going to be involved in that. Just a special place. And I'm a fan of Milton Segarra, his ability from the very beginning, from the first time we met through today, his ability to articulate that vision and why we should do this together is as good as anybody I've seen. And I meet with lots and lots of political and business leaders in this community. And rarely do I find anyone who does anything other than completely supports his leadership of coastal Mississippi tourism. So I was really glad to have him on the show. So anyway, coming to you, Kyle, how you been, my friend?
Been doing pretty good, just gearing up for another NFL season, winding down a baseball season. It's that time of year where they all intermingle and it just gets, tough. Work starts to pick up. Everything happens at once.
And at Super Talk Mississippi Media, you're a jack of all trades that I say all the time, have multiple responsibilities from on air to IT and operations. You kind of do it all. But we're lucky to work with people like Kenny Vest, aren't we? I'm so excited for him to be the new leader of the Gulf Coast area. In fact, I look forward to having him on the show soon. But he's a terrific leader, isn't he?
He really is. He's been a great person to work for, work alongside. I worked with him, honestly, since 94, 95 when he come over. And it's been, I really can't think of what work would be without him alongside some way or the other.
Yeah, he's been awesome. And, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, I had a big challenge last Thursday, and I'll tell you real quick about it. You can get the details by going to the Coast View page, or you can go to the Gulf Coast Super Talk page. We'll post it there as well. But what happened is my daughter Mila, my granddaughter Mila, we keep her while my son and her wife are at work. And she had she woke up from a nap. She was normal going into her nap. She woke up from a nap, had 102 temperature. Long story short, in a very short period of time, it shot up to over 105. She had a seizure. I'm a former paramedic. For people who know, who listen to the show regularly, know that I went to the University of Alabama in Birmingham, had a paramedic school, worked as a paramedic for a while, was actually in pre-med, was going to be an emergency room physician, and was pretty well along on that journey, and decided that medicine really wasn't for me, and I decided to change my major and went on to get an MBA, did an internship at the Sun Herald along the way, and the rest is history. But she came out of the seizure, unfortunately, and her mother's an RN, and she wasn't breathing. And I immediately started mouth to mouth, and after some time, we were able to get her to start breathing again. Of course, my wife Ann was on the phone with 911 operator. The paramedics from the Biloxi Fire Department arrived very quickly. It was a pretty significant delay in the ambulance, which is sort of the way it is right now in the COVID situation. But by the time the paramedics got there, Sierra and I, her mother, were focused on just getting her. We were packed. She was breathing. Had her packed and trying to get her temperature down. And to make a long story short, she had mono, which is actually quite rare in a 2-year-old. But in addition to that, she had double pneumonia. Those things are not related. And the combination of this spiking temperature of the mono and the pneumonia caused her to have the seizure. And unfortunately, when you have a seizure, sometimes, most of the time you come out of the seizure and you're breathing, but in this case she wasn't. It was just a terrifying moment for all of us. And thank the Lord that she is doing well. Memorial has been terrific. They'll be checking her numbers again today to see how she's doing, but hopefully she'll get to go home soon. But she's doing really well. The outpouring of love and support has been incredible. But the main message for sharing the story, and I'm so, I see that some people who shared the story that we shared on Facebook, is to just compel people to, if you don't know CPR, learn it, because you never know when you're going to need it. In her case, she went from a wonderful little kid with just basically a runny nose to not breathing in a matter of very little time. And it's scary how things can turn bad with anyone. It could be any time. And to know how to do CPR is really important. Anyway, Kyle, appreciate your support during these emotional times for us.
You bet. I can't imagine what you were going through, and it is lucky that you knew CPR and how to do it correctly until the paramedics or even the medical unit from the fire department showed up, because that amount of time is very critical, especially in a 2-year-old. Mm-hmm. So the oxygen, that can do a lot of long-term damage without any type of oxygen.
Yeah. When she came out of the seizure, Sierra and I both were just, we weren't talking because we were both focused, but she was making no attempt to breathe. It was literally the scariest moment of my life. Really, it was. And I've seen some bad stuff. But the lesson here is that Memorial has done an incredible job, even with all the work that they've had to do with COVID, and the outpouring of love and support from our friends and family, my cohorts here at the station, et cetera. It's been incredible. And it was very emotional, man. In the moment, you're not emotional, but after it was over with, if they put her in the ambulance, I kind of fell apart. And each day it's a little bit better, but man, I can only imagine, had we not been there, what might the outcome have been. So thank God it turned out the way it did. And thank you for your support, my friend.
You bet. Prayers to you and your family, and hopefully she gets to come home today. Man, that's yeah, no doubt. Talks a lot for a living. I really, a lot of times, find myself with not a lot to say.
I hear you, man. I made it through this conversation without breaking up, so that's a testament to strength. But anyway, God bless you for your support, and have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. Have a good day.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's